Hi everybody, Laura here from My Favorite Things. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a fun project to share with you where I get a little fancy schmancy with the stitching. Okay, so I have the cross stitch rectangle Die-namics die, and I'm going to die cut it into this panel of white cardstock. So I take it off camera, run it through my die cutting machine. Now you see all these little dots that you could poke out. I have this Spellbinders kind of a roller brush tool. It does help. You got to get your back into it. Sometimes I just give up. Now here's my floss. Don't be jealous of my organization. She's a hot mess. But I chose some colors that were tickling my fancy. I have some shades of blue that are going to go vertical. And then I have some warm tones that are going to go horizontal. So I'm counting the holes to see how I could evenly distribute the blue tones. So depending on your holes and depending on the amount of thread colors you want to use, just try to divide it up. I trim a bunch of strands. And here I am going with the first one. I come in one hole and I try to go straight down and then just go right in the hole. So I'm in a hole and then out a hole. My terminology today is going to be on point. Okay, I don't know my embroidery flossing terminology. I have one of these embroidery needles. I think that's what it is. And you know what? The hardest part of this whole thing is threading the floss into the needle. I've got one of those threaders. Is that what they're called? But you know what? I break them. I break my threaders. I don't know what my problem is. Probably not supposed to use thick floss in this particular. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so as you can see, working my way through the various shades of blue floss. I start with the darkest blue and I'm working my way out each side going lighter and lighter. And also, as you can see, I'm using some purple masking tape to hold down the threads, keeping it neat and tidy, keeping it nice and tight. Now, once I got all the blues threaded vertical, I take another piece of blue floss. And what I'm going to do here is cinch it right in the middle, just like you're cinching your waist. I don't have much of a waist. I'm kind of like straight like a board, but if I had a waist like this, I'd cinch it all day long. Okay, so I just tie that in a simple little knot. And then what I'm going to do is get to stitching the warm tones going vertically. So I start in the middle with the darkest, which is purple. And I tried to be exact, but actually, I'm just eyeballing it here as far as what's exactly in the middle. I didn't count it or get real specific. But let's talk about the floss. Here in Germany, there's this store called Teddy, and it's like a dollar store. And that's where I bought this floss. It was $1. It was €1 for a pack of cool tones and €1 for a pack of warm tones. But it's not like I didn't already have a Ziploc full of floss, but you know how it goes. You know how it goes. When I saw those neon colors, I was like, forget about it. So I was really inspired by this crafter that I've been following on Instagram. Her handle is called Creative Ibby. Her name's Ahiba. Hope I pronounced that right. Ahiba Williamson. She's from Jamaica. And she is what you call a threader. She threads on cards. So I'm using floss. She used actual like sewing thread. Very fine, very divine. You got to check her out. She does incredible threading on cards. So that's what I wanted to try to do here. It's not really stitching. It's kind of like faux stitching. So I realized when I was finished that I forgot to do the 4 ends, the corners. So I went back in, I untied the middle, and I did a blue on each end, a light blue. So to finish that off, and then I clean it all up, hold it down with the masking tape. I'm going to go in now when I cinch it with silver thread. I decided to use thread because it's a little daintier and that way my card won't get too bulky. So carefully get that thread in the middle and then I just cinch it like your life depended on it. But you got to be careful. You don't want to snap that thread. I learned that one the hard way too. Okay, so now what I need to do is get another strand of silver thread down the middle of those warm tones. So I'm kind of eyeballing this, trying to go underneath all the threads with my needle and come up all the way to the top, staying in the middle if I can, and then bringing it through. And then now I'm going to start cinching it horizontally or vertically, whichever way. I forget. Now I loosen the masking tape on all the sides. That would give me a little play, a little slack. And then when you start pulling this together, it turns into like a sunburst, a rainbow burst of threaded gorgeousness coming at you. And now the next challenge is, how am I going to clean this up on the backside? I honestly had no idea. So I grabbed score tape, some of this skinny 1/8" score tape. I'm not sure if glue would have worked better, or fabric glue, or a glue gun. Maybe some of you guys know what might be more effective or efficient, but this is my first go. So I'm using score tape. I press it down. I use my bone folder to really press it in, and then I remove the backing on the score tape and I fold the thread back in on itself. And then I press down. And then what I do is I take another strip of score tape and go over the whole thing one more time just to make sure that it's secure. So I hold it down once with score tape, fold it back on itself, put another score tape, and then I trim off the excess. And then I put some foam tape on the back, pop it up on a white card base, neat and tidy. Now for a sentiment, I'm using the Little Birthday Notes stamp set, and it says just for you. I'm going to emboss this in white onto black cardstock. I love to do that when I have a lot of color on a card. That way it really pops. Okay, so I'm thinking, where are you going to put a sentiment? Got to do something right in the middle. So I took a little circle die and die cut it out. And then I'm simply just going to pop it up right in the middle, like bada boom. There you have it. And this card is finished. What do you think? Are you willing to give the faux stitching, threading wannabe a try? I think the results are definitely show-stopping. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.